I'm Kelly from Kelly Kid, and today we're going to make candied nuts. This is a really easy and yummy snack that you can make, and it only requires a few ingredients, most of which you probably already have in your pantry. So let's go through and see what those ingredients are. So you could use walnuts or pecans. So here I have some halves and pieces of walnuts. We use brown sugar, vanilla extract, salt, and water. And these two are optional. So you could stop there, but I'm gonna make mine spiced. So I'm gonna use cinnamon and a little bit of cayenne. And for our supplies, we'll need a small bowl, a measuring cup and some measuring spoons, a whisk and a spatula or something else to stir with. And then you'll need a large skillet as well as something like a pan or something to put your nuts in when they're done. And here we've lined it with parchment paper. So now we're ready to get started. So first thing we always do is wash our hands. So take a minute to do that if you haven't already. And after that, you can go ahead and get some parchment paper and put it in your pan. And we'll set that to the side. Now I'm going to take my skillet and put it on my stove burner and turn it on to medium heat. And mine takes a little bit of time to warm up, so that's why I'm starting now. If you have a gas stove and you want to wait until you get closer to cooking, you can wait to do that. So now we will start our candied mixture. So the first thing that we're going to do is measure out our brown sugar, and that's going to go into the small bowl. And all of our ingredients will go right in here. For our brown sugar, we need half a tablespoon. And if you don't have a half a tablespoon measuring spoon, that is also equivalent to 1.5 teaspoons. When we're measuring brown sugar, you always want to make sure to pack it in. That's how to get the right measurement. So I scooped it in and packed it down. And if there's any more room, you can go ahead and add a little bit more. And once you have that full, just dump that into your bowl. And since you packed that in, you might need to tap that to get that out. And next we will add our water, which will also be half a tablespoon or 1.5 teaspoons. So to make it easier, I just poured myself a little bit of water so I can just scoop it, and then it's right up to the line and pour that into the bowl. And now we will add our vanilla. And for our vanilla, we just need 1/4 teaspoon. So make sure you pour that in right to the line and pour that into the bowl. And it will be the same measurement for the salt. And you want to be careful in case it comes out fast. So you can even pour it over another bowl so that way you don't make your mixture too salty if you over pour. And when you have that up to the line, pour it in. Another trick you could use is doing what we did with the water and putting some salt into a little bowl and scooping it from there. So now if you are not going to add your spices, you can stop there with your ingredients and give it a mix. We will be adding our spices next, so we'll keep doing that. We need the same 1/4 teaspoon, so we'll just give this a rinse, clean it out, and get it ready for our spices. And we'll start with our cinnamon. Quarter teaspoon in the bowl. And we'll wipe it out again. So that way we're not mixing our spices in the containers. So I might do a little bit less than 1/4 teaspoon. It's not all the way full. I don't want it too spicy. We're all set. So we'll just take a whisk and mix it together. Okay? So it is just a very little amount. And that will be ready to go on our nuts in a moment. So now we're ready to add our nuts to the pan. And so we're gonna add our nuts first So that way we toast them up a little bit. You want to make sure not to burn them though, so you want to get mixing right away. We're going to do 1 cup of nuts. Made a little bit of a mess, so that's okay. All these will go in there. And we've got our 1 full cup. And we'll pour it into a pan. And just stir it around, like I said, so that way you're not burning any. Toasted nuts are delicious, but burnt nuts are not. So you'll do this for a couple minutes, 2 to 3 minutes, until they are nice and toasty. And while our nuts are toasting, we're also going to clean up a little bit and make sure that we're ready to not only add our mixture, but also to get our pan set up to have some place to put our nuts when they're done. Okay, and I'm still mixing my nuts and toasting them a little bit more, but you'll see now I'm all set up and have a clear space. So all that's on my counter now is my mixture that we still have to use and our landing pad, we call it, the place for our cooked food to go. Okay, so it's been a couple of minutes and our nuts are nice and toasted. So we will add our mixture. And this is why our spatula is going to be such a great tool for this. Not only is it non-stick, which will be great for later, but our mixture is kind of getting all stuck to the side. So the spatula is really great to be able to scrape every last bit of that out. So we're going to do this really quickly, make sure our mixture doesn't burn too much or at all. Okay, it's already bubbling. It's great. And now we want to give it a really good mix to coat all of our nuts. Okay, at this point our nuts look nice and toasty, nice and covered with our mixture. They all look the same, they all have some of the mix on it. And so now we'll take our pan very carefully, and if you need, grab some oven mitts or ask for help. And we're just going to scrape this onto our pan, onto our sheet. Put the skillet down and turn the burner off. And I'm just going to use my spatula to flatten them out. Okay, and now these are all spread out into one layer, so they are not on top of each other. And that's going to be the best way for them to cool down. And if you spread them out a little bit, that will make sure they don't stick to each other. Although it's fine if they do, and then you can just break them apart. So we're going to wait a few minutes for this to cool, and then we'll come back and check and see how they are. Okay, our nuts have cooled down for only about 5 minutes, but because we've spread them out and ours doesn't have too much liquid to it, they're pretty cool. So we're going to see how they taste. Really good. A little sweet, a little spicy. And you can see our nuts here. These are a great little snack, but also can be put out with appetizers around the holidays. Really great for the fall. So you can see how quick and easy it was for them to come together. And there are your candied nuts. Enjoy.